Okay, good morning, all of you. I think whoever is recording, I think they can start recording. We'll start with the morning quote. Think about the dreams you had last night to make your lazy morning a beautiful one. And today's inspiring quote is, do something today that your future self will thank you for. So whatever we are doing today, actually tomorrow we should be happy about it. And if we are happy today, it is because what you have done something in the past made you happy now. And actually yesterday we missed the class, but yesterday is the birthday of the great APJ Abdul Kalam. And all my status and WhatsApp is filled with Abdul Kalam sir's quotes and all. But okay, today is the birthday of Webster. Have you heard about Webster? So what comes to your mind by the name Webster?
Sir, dictionary, sir.
Yeah, right. Dictionary. So he's American lexicographer, textbook pioneer, English language spelling reformer, political writer, editor, and prolific author. He has been called the father of American scholarship and education. His Blue Bucket Speller books taught 5 generations of American children how to spell and read. Webster's name has become synonymous with dictionary. So naturally, Webster means dictionary only we remember. In the United States, and especially the modern Merriam-Webster dictionary that was first published in 1828 as an American dictionary of the English language. So he says the virtues of men are of more consequence to society than their abilities. Okay, so if a person is the presence of a person in the society is useful not because of his abilities, but how much useful to the society, right? And for this reason, the heart should be cultivated with more assiduity than the head. So that's why people say always think with your heart, not with your head. So because heart only will have emotions. And also he says discipline our youth in early life in sound maxims of moral, political, and religious duties. So all these things are, this education is useless if you don't have proper ethics and morals. So society will not go up. It always goes down if that is not there. Okay, we have the 26th lecture today. And in the last class, we have actually that is planned for the mid-exam. We have discussed about the various formulae for first law applied to closed systems. And we have discussed how to tackle the problems using first law for closed systems. And we have also seen the formula used for pure substance. So depending on what is the state of the substance, which tables are to be used and how it is to be done. So methods of dealing with problems of pure substances we have discussed. And we have seen formula used for in solving unsteady flow problems using first law, and steady state steady flow energy equation we discussed, and method of handling steady flow problems and unsteady flow problems, and formula used with heat engines, refrigerators, and heat pumps, and method of solving problems with heat engines, refrigerators, and a combination series of heat engines, or a heat engine running a heat pump, or heat engine running a refrigerator, right? So those things we have discussed in the last class. And today I am going to do on the board. So we discussed today about thermodynamic cycles. We also call them as air standard cycles. So all thermodynamics actually deal with the main applications are power generation, where we use power cycles. And the other one is refrigeration. These are the main categories on which thermodynamics work with. So this will have refrigeration cycles. Okay, heat pumps also use refrigeration cycles only. And in power cycles, again, based on the working substance, we have gas cycles, and another is vapor cycles. So if it is using single phase gas, then we have gas cycles or two-phase cycles, right? Where I'll have partly in part of the processes there will be liquid or vapor or a mixture of it. So there are two-phase cycles. Again, here also we'll have air cycles and vapor cycles. And in the gas cycles, we already have discussed about Brayton, Carnot, Otto cycle, diesel cycle, right? All these things will come here. And some more cycles also we are going to discuss. And in vapor cycles, we get what are called as Rankine cycles. And here in the refrigeration, we have air refrigeration cycle for air cycle. And for vapor cycles, we have already discussed vapor compression refrigeration system. And there will be what are called as vapor absorption refrigeration system. Like that, we will have different systems. This is compression, this is absorption. Vapor compression refrigeration system, vapor absorption refrigeration system. Okay, these are the various cycles we are going to deal with. And then coming to the gas cycles, and also which are power cycles. As I told, we have Carnot, okay, Otto, diesel, Brayton, and also the combination of this we have Joule cycle, and we will have Stirling cycle and Ericsson cycle. This Ericsson cycle, I talked about it once, and there is Atkinson cycle, and there is another cycle I talked about which has only 3 processes, Lenoir cycle. Okay, so these are the different cycles that we come across, power cycles with gas. Okay, so these things we will deal. And before going to that, so we are going to have some, we call them as air standard cycles. These are called as air standard cycles. Because in Otto cycle we use air fuel mixture, air and petrol, and in diesel cycle air and diesel are used. In the Brayton cycle also air and some high quality petrol, the kerosene we use. So different things we use, but all of them, it is difficult to analyze those cycles, right? So because of that, okay, what are the difficulties? Normally friction or turbulence, which are called as internal irreversibilities. And composition normally change, right? So because the fuel is burnt in the air, so composition changes, its properties change. So it will become difficult. And another thing is like heat losses, and usually there will be some heat losses also. And all these things make the analysis difficult for the real cycles. So for that, we make some assumptions, and we say them assumptions for air standard cycle. So first we assume that working fluid is air. And another thing, air is perfect gas. We assume it is perfect gas. Under the ranges of pressures and temperatures, we assume it behaves like perfect gas. Means Cp, PV, R, molecular weight, all are constants. We assume these are constants. And next, no chemical reactions. Actually, there is chemical reaction, burning takes place, but I assume there are no chemical reactions, and the composition of air doesn't change. The composition of air doesn't change. And so how the heat addition takes place then? So heat addition and the rejection are only heat exchange processes. Heat exchange process. That is, if I have a combustion chamber like this, where the fuel is there and the air comes here, its composition changes, right? So it is not assumed, it is not taking this place. So we assume there is air going like this, and so there will be heat addition through a high temperature reservoir. Similarly, a heat rejection to a low temperature reservoir to the atmosphere. So this is the way only heat transfer takes place, not by the burning. So its composition remains changed throughout the cycle. So we assume the cycle is closed cycle. And so this is called as external combustion engine. We assume external combustion. Means somewhere else the burning takes place, not in the fuel. Okay, this is one particular thing. It is important, right, to know about the difference between IC engine, internal combustion engine, and external combustion engine. It is not electronics and communication. It is external combustion engine. So here the burning takes place inside the fluid, right? So composition changes. Composition of fluid changes. So here it is not like that. So burning will be somewhere else, only heat exchange takes place. And the composition doesn't change. So because of this, I can reuse fluid can be, or working substance can be reused. Okay. So this is what is called as closed cycle. So here because its composition changes, I cannot repeat the cycle. Its composition is changed. I have to throw away the fluid and take the fresh fluid. Okay, so that's why this is called as open cycle. All automobile engines like the petrol engines, diesel engines, car engines, bike engines, all those things are basically open cycles. And thermal power plant, it is closed cycle because we take the same water, cool it, and again recirculate. So that is closed cycle. So this is open cycle is not a thermodynamic cycle. Okay, here it follow what is called as mechanical cycle. So what we mean by mechanical cycle? There will be suction, compression, power stroke, exhaust stroke, again suction, compression, power stroke, exhaust stroke, like that. So there is what is called as a mechanical cycle, but this is not a thermodynamic cycle. So internal combustion engines are open cycles, and mechanical cycles and not thermodynamic cycles. External combustion engines, they follow closed cycle or thermodynamic cycle. But actually we are going to solve, we want to solve the open cycles, the real practical cycles, but we assume them to be closed cycle, having the same composition by only heat exchanges. The burning doesn't take place. So actually Otto cycle, diesel cycle, I have to open it. It's not a closed cycle, but I draw it like a closed cycle. Okay, that is one of the main important thing you have to observe. Okay, so that is then, and then heat transfer to the surroundings, that is any losses or something, is equal to 0. And another assumption that we make is okay, no friction or turbulence. Okay, so internally reversible, right? I assume all processes are internally reversible and quasi-static, right? All processes are internally reversible and quasi-static. And delta Ke, change in potential energy and change in kinetic energy in all processes are negligible. Okay, so all processes are negligible. So these are the various assumptions we make for the air standard cycles. Okay, so these are the assumptions. You have to remember them, right? Okay. Now some cycles we discussed, right? So already we have we know Carnot cycle. So quickly we will go through Carnot cycle. So Carnot cycle will have, if I draw a PV diagram, you have to know both PV diagram and TS diagram. So I will have so this is a reversible isothermal process. This is a reversible isothermal process. Here heat addition takes place and here heat rejection takes place. So this is a clockwise cycle. You have to put the cycle direction also. It's a clockwise cycle. And this is PV power gamma equal to constant. And this is also PV power gamma equal to constant. Okay. So two reversible isothermals and two reversible isentropics. And I told you in TS diagram, it becomes very simple. It comes like this. Okay. This is TH is equal to constant. This is PL equal to constant. Okay, so sorry, PL equal to constant. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is. Okay. So this is isothermal compression and then isentropic compression, and this is isothermal expansion and then adiabatic expansion. Okay, this is the way 4 processes take place. And so if you want to find out the heat transfer and anything, always remember efficiency is equal to Wn by QH. And Wn is area of PV diagram. And what is QH? Area under heat addition in TS diagram. So this is area under PV diagram, area of PV diagram or TS diagram. Okay, so this area gives me W net. And here this is heat addition. Okay, this is heat addition. This is heat rejection. So area under heat addition curve, the whole thing. This is QH. Okay, so this gives me Wn, QH, and also efficiency. And if I want to get the expression for efficiency, I will do it in a simple way. So efficiency is equal to QH minus QL by QH. That is equal to 1 minus QL by QH. Okay. So QL, that is area under 1, 2. Area under 1, 2. So here temperature is constant, TL into S1 minus. Okay. So this is the area under 1, 2. And the QH, if you take, so this rectangle below 3, 4. So temperature TH into S4 minus S3. So this is this. So if I write this here, 1 minus TL into S1 minus S2 by TH into S4 minus S3. So if you see S1 minus S2 and S4 minus S3 have the same length. So this is same. And if I cancel it, 1 minus TL by TH, I get the Carnot efficiency. This is a simple method of getting the expression for the Carnot's efficiency as 1 minus TL by TH. You can use the other way also, the way I have done in the previous, when I solved the Carnot cycle, using the volume ratios, temperature ratios, and the work done, and those things we can use, or simply using entropy, I can get the efficiency like this. So this is the way we get the Carnot efficiency. Is it okay? Is it okay? Right, thank you. So we'll go to the next one. So we go to Otto cycle or diesel cycle. So these are actually reciprocating engines. So these reciprocating things already we have discussed. So we will have a cylinder and a piston moving to and fro. So this small one, because if this is piston, so there will be some clearance here. This is called as clearance volume. VC, clearance volume. So it can go up to some distance. Right? So this distance, whatever it go, right? This is called VS. This is called stroke volume or swept volume. And this total one from the top to bottom, this is called as cylinder volume. Cylinder volume. And okay. And this, when it is at the top end, this is called as top dead center. And when this is at the bottom end, this is called as bottom dead center. Okay. So it goes from top dead center to bottom dead center when the strokes are taking place. Okay. And so if you draw the curve, a diagram, and if this is the clearance volume, and if this is the cylinder volume, so here when at the beginning, when it is at the top dead center, it will be here, and so here there will be inlet and exit. So here there will be a valve, here there will be a valve, and inlet valve opens at this point. When it is going back, it slowly sucks the air. It slowly sucks the air. This is suction stroke. I will put 0, 1. So 0, 1 is suction stroke. Okay. So then once it goes to the end, both valves will be closed, right? If both valves are closed, there will be compression taking place. There will be increase in the pressure. Okay. So there will be increase in the pressure levels. This is isentropic because it is a little bit of high-speed engine. So there will not be any time for the heat loss. So this is P power gamma equal to constant, and this is P equal to constant. Sucking takes place at constant pressure, right? Because when it is going back, a little bit of small pressure drop will be there, due to which it sucks air, and because it is going slowly, it's constant pressure, the air is sucked. Okay, so it is a constant pressure suction stroke, and then isentropic compression. So this is 2 I can put. So 1, 2, isentropic compression. So here both air and fuel, it sucks air plus fuel mixture. Air fuel mixture, it is compressed. So when it comes to the top dead center, and then there will be what is called as a spark plug here, and there will be burning. So what happens? There will be sudden rise in the pressure because the pressure mixture is ready for combustion. It is at high pressure and temperature. So there will be sudden rise in the pressure and temperature. So there will be heat addition here. So 2 to 3, constant volume, heat addition. Constant volume, heat addition. And so then there will be power stroke or expansion stroke. So where it goes like this. This is 4. This is also isentropic, PV power gamma equal to constant. So 3, 4 is power or expansion stroke. Expansion stroke. And at 4, so here actually during expansion stroke also both valves are closed. So when it starts returning, before starting returning, because there will be some pressure inside, I open the valve. Okay, so here exhaust valve opens. At 4, exhaust valve opens because inside high pressure is there. Completely all hot gases will go out. This is called as heat release. Okay, so or heat loss. 4-1. This is called as heat release. Heat release. Okay, so all gases are over. Now it can go forward. Okay, so and when it is going forward, whatever gases are still there in the cylinder, they will be pushed off. Okay, they will be pushed, and this is called as exhaust stroke. It goes just retraces it. So 1, 0. This is called as exhaust stroke. Okay, this is the way the cycle completes. Again, it starts from 0 to 1. It sucks, then compresses, and then combustion, then power stroke, and release, and exhaust stroke. Okay, so you should not think that 1, 2, 3, 4 are the 4 strokes. No, when it is going from top dead center to bottom dead center, 1 stroke, bottom dead center to top dead center, another stroke. Like that, 4 strokes for 2 revolutions. Okay, so this is 0 to 1 suction strokes, 1 to 2 compression stroke, 2 to 3 heat addition, constant volume heat addition, 3 to 4 expansion stroke or power stroke, again isentropic, and 4 to 1 it is heat release, right? So piston is not moving, piston is there only. We opened the exhaust valve, right? So this is exhaust valve opening. Okay, so here 0 inlet valve opens. Okay, and here both valves closed. Inlet valve closed, exhaust valve closed. Right, like that. So this is the way the whole cycle takes place. Is the cycle okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will see the thermodynamics part of it. So I have to draw this again, both PV and TS diagrams. So actually, so when you draw, normally many books, this line will not be drawn because there is no area. It just goes like this and comes like this. Positive and negative area goes off. So nothing. There is no area included in this, zero area. So that's why many times it will not be drawn. And this is QH, and this is QL. Okay. So this is PV power gamma equal to constant. This is PV power gamma equal to constant. So when I draw it on TS diagram, so it will be like isentropic 1 to 2 and constant volume heat addition. So it will be like this. Again isentropic and this is constant volume. So V equal to constant, V equal to constant. This is S equal to constant. This is S equal to constant. 1, 2, 3, 4. So heat addition is here, QH, and heat rejection is here, QL. Okay, this is the way the both cycles will be. This is T, yes. Okay, when you draw the figures, you have to show everything. PV, you have to show both the axes, and the arrows you have to put. You draw the cycle and show the arrows in clockwise cycle and put the numbers properly, and you show each process what it is, and you show heat addition, heat rejection, everything. Okay, so then it completes the cycle. And so if I want to have the efficiency again efficiency is equal to 1 minus QL by QH. Okay, so this is equal to 1 minus, what is QL? QL is constant volume process. Okay, so delta, now if I take delta Q is equal to du plus delta W. Okay, so delta W is 0. So here delta Q or Q12 or Q41 here, Q41 is equal to CV into T4 minus T1, because du is CV dt, CV into T4 minus T1. So I will write here CV into T4 minus T1. By when you come to QH, QH is 2 to 3. Again, it is constant volume. Again, delta W is 0. So Q23 that is equal to CV into T3 minus T2. Okay, so CV into T3 minus T2. Okay, CV goes off. So I will get the expression like this. And so here, the one of the main data you will be given is RK. This is compression ratio. So it is going from V1 to V2, right? So compression ratio is V1 by V2. Compression ratio is V1 by V2. So V1 is the total volume by V2 is the clearance volume, right? So this is the compression ratio, how much it is compressed. Okay, it is going from V1 to V2 during the stroke. Okay, so I want to express this in terms of RK. And here, for convenience, what I do is, for all the cycles, I follow this particular procedure. Okay, so I take T1 common here, 1 minus T1 into T4 by T1 minus 1 by T1 into T3 by T1 minus T2 by T1. Okay, so what is each? So if I take T2 by T1, T2 by T1, because this is a isentropic process, is equal to V1 by V2 to the power of gamma minus 1, or Rk to the power of gamma minus 1. When you come to T3 by T2, T3 by T1, so T3 by T1 is T3 by T2 into T2 by T1. And T3 by T2 also, it is going from low pressure to high pressure for a constant volume. I can take it as pressure ratio. Rp is equal to T3 by T2, which is pressure ratio. Pressure ratio. So P3 by P2, because for a constant volume process, P3 by P2 is T3 by T2. So I can write this as Rp into T2 by T1. Already I know Rk to the power of gamma minus 1. Okay. Then coming to T4 by T1. This I will write it as T4 by T3 into T3 by T1. And if you see here, V1 by V2 is also equal to V4 by V3. Because V1 equal to V4 and V2 equal to V3, so it is like this. So T4 by T3, because 3,4 is isentropic relation, so T4 by T3 is V3 by V4 to the power of gamma minus 1 into T3 by T1. And V3 by V4 is again R only, Rk to the power of gamma minus 1, and T3 by T1 is this is V4 by V3, here V3 by V4. This is 1 by Rk power gamma minus 1 into T3 by T1 is this is Rp, Rk to the power of gamma minus 1. So this Rk power gamma minus 1, Rk power gamma minus 1, it goes off. This will be Rp only. Okay, so this is the way we get. And if I substitute there, eta equal to 1 minus. So this T1 goes off. T4 by T1 is Rp minus 1 by T3 by T1 is Rp into Rk power gamma minus 1 minus T2 by T1 is Rk power gamma minus 1. So like this I will get. So in the denominator, Rk power gamma minus 1, if I take common, I will get Rp minus 1, and Rp minus 1, Rp minus 1 goes off. So I will get 1 minus 1 by Rk to the power of gamma minus 1. Okay, this is the way I get the expression. So if you remember Brayton cycle, I will get 1 minus 1 by R to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. That R is pressure ratio. Here this R is compression ratio. Rk is compression ratio. Okay, this is the way I get eta. And if I see, so eta is equal to 1 minus 1 by Rk to the power of gamma minus 1. Means this is a function of Rk and gamma. Okay, so if I draw the variation of efficiency with Rk, when Rk is equal to 1, efficiency will become 0. As Rk increase, this denominator here will increase, and 1 by this decrease. So 1 minus will increase. So eta increases with Rk. As Rk increase, efficiency increase. So it comes like this. Okay. And so it is also a function of gamma, I am telling. So if you do calculate it for different values of gamma, so you'll get something like this. As gamma increase, I'll get different lines like this. So this, suppose gamma equal to 1.2, gamma equal to 1.3, gamma equal to 1.4, gamma equal to 1.66, like that. Okay, gamma is equal to 1.3, this is CO2. Gamma equal to 1.2, it is like alcohol, ethane, and gamma equal to 1.4 is air. Gamma equal to 1.66 is helium. Okay, so like that, if you have different fluids of different gamma, as gamma increase, it is found that efficiency increase. Okay, this is the way we analyze this cycle. And I told you as efficiency increases with as Rk increases, right? And so I want to have high compression ratios. But the problem is when I have high compression ratio, so when it is moving forward, and because it is a mixture getting compressed, so two things may happen. One is, if the mixture temperature during compression, if it is very long, large compression ratio, So the temperatures will be very high, and before giving the spark, the burning may take place. Burn before completion of compression stroke. So before completion of compression stroke, if suppose it burns here itself, it cannot go to the end. It pushes it back, and I lose all the power. So this one problem may happen. And another thing is, after giving the spark, when it is going back, what happens is here there will be, flame front will be moving like this. And because of high temperature, there may be another burning here where the flame front may come and they interact, and there will be severe vibrations will come. Because the flame front from this side and this side, they interact, and there will be a lot of noise and vibration. This is called as detonation. Sometimes this is called also as knocking. So knocking or detonation takes place because of high compression ratios. Okay, so high compression, because I want to increase efficiency, I cannot just increase the compression ratio whatever I want. Okay, so this is restricted by the detonation and knocking. And so people, what they used to do is they used to add what is called as tetraethyl lead to the petrol, right? So which increases auto ignition temperature. That is, at high temperature only it can burn. So it can increase the compression ratio some more so that it won't burn by itself. So this is what is called as auto ignition. It burns by itself, right? Without giving a spark, if it burns by itself, that is called as auto ignition. So if auto ignition temperature is high, the probability of knocking is less. But later found that this lead in the petrol, which burns and comes out as lead oxides, so it harms the environment. And humans, because it is highly toxic, and it spoils and it creates large pollution. That's why if you see some nowadays people have restricted of using the lead, and we have to use what is called as unleaded petrol. So in the petrol pumps, so you will have now available unleaded petrol, they call it as. Okay, so we have to use unleaded petrol. Okay, this is the way we get. So we got the efficiency as 1 minus 1 by r to power gamma minus 1, and W is equal to QH minus QL. And another thing, we define what is called as mean effective pressure. Right? So we call it as PM or MEP. Right? We write like this. So mean effective pressure means, suppose if I have like this, and if it is working like this, and this is the minimum pressure, and this is the maximum pressure in which it is working, and this is V1 minus V2, this is V1, and this is V2. Okay, so there is a mean pressure here, right? So this area, if this area is equal to this cycle area, that is, should be equal to WN network. Okay, so then that pressure, this pressure is called PM. This is P1 and this is P3 or P max. This is called maximum pressure, and P1 is the minimum pressure, and this is mean pressure. So PM mean effective pressure is equal to W net by V1 minus V2. So area is equal to PM into V1 minus V2, which is W net. So mean effective pressure is W net by V1 minus V2. Okay, this is the way the mean effective pressure is defined. So if you want to solve a problem,
Sir,
yes,
once go back.
yeah, previous. Okay, tell me.
Sir, PM equal to P1 plus.
No, this area, no, it is actually this area. Okay, this is the W net, right? Cycle area. This should be equal to this area. So if this area is equal to, oh, okay. Sorry, this is
P1 plus.
yeah.
W.
Actually, maybe it may not be like that. I think maybe here above this. Okay, maybe this is PM. It's not average of that or anything. Mean effective pressure means the average pressure that is acting on the cylinder to give the same work. I think it's okay. I think previous one, PM into V1 minus V2. This area, okay. So this is PM. This area should be equal to W net. So V1 minus V2 is same, and this height of the rectangle is the mean effective pressure. It is only this height. This height is PM. Okay, not on the axis. Not on the axis. Okay, this difference is PM, mean effective pressure. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So this area of the Otto cycle is replaced by a rectangle with the same V1 minus V2 width. So the height of the rectangle is mean effective pressure. Is that okay? Okay, we will see the problem. So usually you will be given P1 and T1. Okay, so I always told whether many times in the problem you will be asked to find out all the properties at the salient points. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to get PBT, right? So better whether it is useful or not for the calculation of efficiency. Forget about it. You have to know about finding out PBT at all the points. Okay, so P1, T1 will be given to you. So by which you can calculate V1. V1 is equal to RT1 by T1. R is equal to 0.287 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, and P1 in kilopascals, and T1 in Kelvin. And so V1 you will get in meter cube per kg. Okay, so state 1 is over. When you want to go to state 2, I know the process PV power gamma equal to constant, and I have to be given some variable. Okay, so that variable is RK. You will be given RK. So which is V1 by V2. Okay, so this gives me V2. This gives me V2. And I have to get T2 and P2 from the process relations. So I know that T2 by T1 is equal to P2, V1 by V2 to the power of gamma minus 1. This gives me T2, and P2 by P1 is equal to V1 by V2 to the power of gamma. So this gives me P2. Okay, in that way P2, V2, T2 are obtained. And next I have to get 3. And that is 2, 3. I know that V equal to constant means V2 equal to V3. And some other data I need. So usually the data will be given in different ways. You may be given the maximum temperature that is developed in the cycle, or maximum pressure developed in the cycle, or you may be given this much of heat is added. Okay, QH will be given. So if T3 or P3 is straightly given, it's no problem. And QH we know, QH is equal to CV into T3 minus T2, right? And CV is equal to 0.718 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, right? So this gives me T3. So T3 may be directly given, or you have to calculate T3 like this. And once you get T3, V3 is already known. So P3 by T2 is equal to T3 by T2. Sorry. Because P3 V3 by T3 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. So because V2 equal to V3 constant, P3 by Pt is equal to T3 by T2. This gives me P3. Okay, in that way, the point 3 is over. Then coming to point 4. So point 4, because I need not be given anything else, because I know this process and also the other process. Both sides I know the process. So V4 is equal to V1 because it is a constant volume process. And so I know one, and I know that PV power gamma equal to constant. So T3 by T4 is equal to V4 by V3 to the power of gamma minus 1. And V4 by V3 is again Rk. So Rk power gamma minus 1. This gives me T4. T4 and V4 are known, so I can find out T4. Okay, so like this, I can find out all the properties at all the points. Once you know, you can find out QH, QL, W net and all. Okay. Anything, any difficulty here? So QL is equal to CV into T4 minus T1. QH is equal to CV into T3 minus T2. And W net is equal to QH minus QL, and eta 1 minus QL by QH, and PM mean effective pressure W net by V1 minus V2. So in this way you can find out all the values whatever you are asked for. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. And so this is about the Otto cycle. And coming to the diesel cycle. So now people want to have more efficiency, but because petrol is giving some problem, so whenever mixture goes, the mixture is ready to burn whenever high temperature is there. So I don't want to have that. I want to have high pressure ratios so that I can have higher efficiency. So people thought of sending only air into the mixture, and after the compression, they want to send the fuel into the cylinder. Okay, so here they came about the diesel cycle, and this is called as CI engine. And if you go to Otto cycle, so this is Otto cycle. This is SI engine, spark ignition engine. Okay. This is CI engine, compression ignition. And Otto cycle or petrol engine, it needs carburetor to mix air and fuel, and it needs spark plug for spark or ignition. And in diesel cycle, where I have diesel engine, so I don't need carburetor and spark plug. So I need injector to inject the fuel into the cylinder. And to inject the fuel into the cylinder after the compression, because after the compression inside pressure is very high, and I have to push it with very high pressure. Then only it can go into the cylinder. So for that I need fuel pump to increase the pressure of fuel. Okay. So in this way it happens. So when you have cycle, so again this is the clearance volume and this is the total cylinder volume, and so it starts from 0, it sucks air 0 to 1, suction stroke, and then there will be compression stroke, and this is PV power gamma equal to constant. So 2, and here I am injecting the fuel. So then the burning starts. It is not sudden. It takes some time. Okay. So it starts injecting the fuel. The burning takes place. When the burning takes place, it tries to increase the pressure. But at the same time, the piston is going back, right? So pressure decrease. So in that way, pressure is maintained constant up to certain distance, up to the fuel is injected. Okay. So this is what is called as cutoff. Fuel is injected from 2 to 3, and where the burning takes place and heat is added. And after that, the fuel is stopped. Now expansion takes place like this. Okay. And then up to 4, then I open the exhaust valve and this happens. This is QL, release. So this is the way, and this is PV power gamma equal to constant. Okay, same thing, 0, 1, suction, 1, 2, compression, 2 to 3, combustion, which is isobaric, constant pressure combustion, and 3 to 4, expansion, and 4, 1, release, and 1, 0, exhaust. Okay, so this is the way the cycle happens. And when you come to TS diagram, so previously whatever is there, it will be like that only. Only thing is, this is 1 to 2, compression, 2 to 3, E equal to constant. This is PV power gamma equal to constant. And here heat is added. And 3 to 4, so 3 to 4 is the expansion. This is expansion. This is also PV power gamma equal to constant. And 4 to 1 is the release or heat loss. Okay. So this is the way the cycle happens. And so if you just compare the Otto cycle and diesel cycle, these three processes, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 1 are same. Only combustion is different. So here I have P equal to constant, and for Otto cycle, V equal to constant will be there. V equal to constant is steeper. Isocore is steeper in on a TS diagram than isobar. So it will be like this. This is 3 Otto. This is 3 diesel. So if you see from the cycles, right, because all the bottom 3 are same, right, the top one only is different, you can see that Otto cycle have more area. So that's why Otto cycle is more efficient compared to diesel cycle for a given compression ratio. If compression ratio is same, then Otto cycle is more efficient. Okay, the other things we will see later. Okay, I think we can stop the class now. It is 11 o'clock. Any doubt? And we see what is the efficiency expression, derive it in the next class. Any doubts? Okay. So then we'll go to the story then quickly. So today it's a nice love story we go to. So this is a lizard story. This is a true story that happened in Japan. In order to renovate the house, someone in Japan breaks open the wall. If you know, actually those walls are made by two wooden planks. Actually, there will be some empty space in between, so it looks like a wall. Okay, so they broke open the wall, and Japanese houses normally have a hollow space between the wooden walls. When tearing down the walls, he found that there was a lizard stuck because a nail from outside hammered into one of its feet. So it is stuck to the plank, that wooden plank. He sees this and feels pity and at the same time curious, as when he checked the nail, it was nailed 5 years ago when the house was first built. What happened? The lizard has survived in such position for 5 years. He really couldn't believe how it can happen. And in a dark wall partition for 5 years without moving, it is impossible and mind-boggling. Then he wondered how this lizard survived for 5 years without moving a single step, since its foot was nailed. So he stopped his work and observed the lizard, what it has been doing, and what and how it has been eating and surviving. Later, not knowing from where it came, appears another lizard with food in its mouth. Ah, he was stunned and touched deeply. For the lizard that was stuck by nail, another lizard has been feeding it for the last 5 years. Imagine, it has been doing that untiringly for 5 long years without giving up hope on its partner. Imagine what a small creature can do that a creature blessed with a brilliant mind can't. Please never abandon your loved ones. Never say you are busy when they really need you. You may have the entire world at your feet, but you might be the only world to them. A moment of negligence might break the very heart which loved you against all odds. Before you say something, just remember, it takes a moment to break, but an entire lifetime to make. Okay, this is very important. So breaking a relationship is just a second, but making a relation with another fellow, it takes very long time. So be careful and never lose your loved ones. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. See you again tomorrow, 11:30. And so as people requested, no, they don't want to have the test. Tomorrow there is no test. So always remember, test is not for my joy or enjoyment. I have to put a lot of effort for making the questions and typing all those things and send it to you, and again making it consolidated and all. It relieves a lot of my work only because I want you to refresh yourself every week with whatever is covered. Okay, so now people think that because it is not there for mid, I need not study. That's not right, actually. One thing you remember, right? You have to have passion in work, whatever you are doing. It is because of fear or some marks or some money if you are doing, you don't enjoy it. Right? You have to enjoy doing it. Many times people say you should have a goal. Right? When you reach the goal, you will enjoy it. No, that's not the right thing. Right? After reaching goal, getting joy is not right. You have to enjoy the journey. Right? You have to enjoy the journey of reaching the goal. Then only every moment you will enjoy. Okay. For if you study for marks, you may get or you may not get. You may get enjoy or not. But if you enjoy studying it, okay, so then you are great, and heaven is there in you, right? You will every moment you will enjoy. Okay. Okay. Anyhow, it's left to you. If you are not interested, I will not be conducting. And as again, I am telling you, it is for your benefit only. I am conducting these exams, right? So unless there are exams, you people are not going to study it and look at it. And later there will be accumulated syllabus, which you have to study in only one day or something, and you will not have time. You don't, you get frustrated to understand the things, and you will lose confidence. Everything happens, everything negative happens, okay? Okay, see you. See you again tomorrow. Thank you. I think you can stop recording if somebody is recording.